Josh Goralski from Unlocking Communities. And Josh is really a unique and inspiring person in that he is very energized and committed to social justice in, what do you call it? You call them the most underserved, but that's not the right. I'm sorry?
Most marginalized communities.
Most marginalized communities in the Global South. He has a passion for creating hyper-local economic development focused on in those communities and creating social enterprises. So Josh is the founder of and CEO of Unlocking Communities, which equips entrepreneurs with education and tools to sell sustainable products to unlock economic, social, and environmental transformation in their communities. Rooted in Catholic social teaching, the model emphasizes human dignity, care for creation, solidarity, and preferential option for the poor. Currently operating in Haiti, which is where your investment is currently being used, is in their work in Haiti, Ethiopia and Ukraine, Unlocking Communities has impacted over 750,000 people. And there is their website. But I am going to move over to welcome Josh to the podium, and I'll move over to your presentation. There you go.
Thank you so much,
Josh
Sarah.
Goralski.
Thank you, Sarah. It's such an honor to be here today with all of you. Sarah and I have known each other now for 4 or 5 years as we've explored this journey, and I want to take a moment though first to recognize why I'm doing this work. So many people are like, why did you get involved in Haiti, and why? Why are you doing social justice work? I went to college to study nonprofit management and then did my master's in Catholic social teaching at Loyola Chicago. And so many people are like, why? And the why started because I had a dad who, even though he spent a significant part of his life in the hospital, was serving in the criminal justice system in Chicago, in the suburbs. He took us into the jails in middle school to see women in the juvenile justice system put on a play to show us that they are more than they have done. And he would come home at night after ministering with these youth in the jail. It then became a women's only jail. To say he was so frustrated that they came back to jail because it was the safest place they knew. And that really stuck with me. And yesterday, and on top of that, my mom was also very involved in social justice. And so between the two of them, and my dad especially, because he was so sick and suffering so much personally, was able to still minister to communities, just really resonated with me. Yesterday would have been his birthday, and it was also the incorporation date of Unlocking Communities 7 years ago yesterday. So just a few days after he passed away, Unlocking Communities was, by God's providence, incorporated on his birthday, which was not intentional at all. So it's I share that special day. And the reason we got involved in Haiti is because of the foresight of a CSJ sister, a Congregation of St. Joseph's sister, who was the first Catholic social justice director at the church I grew up at, starting in the very early 1990s, so way before a lot of churches had social justice directors. So I wanted to say that, and to say that it was really my family and the upbringing of the CSJ sisters that connected me to Haiti and connected me to this work of Catholic social teaching and social justice. I want to pause and talk about energy efficient cooking. This is a topic that so many people took for granted, and when I started Unlocking Communities, I had no clue that we would start selling energy efficient cook stoves. This was 100% responding to communities' requests. Cooking is a communal activity that the grandparents, the moms, and the daughters do together oftentimes in places like Haiti. And normally you replace this orange pot on the floor with a pile of charcoal, like you're at a campsite and you don't have any stove. Replacing it with this orange stove is equivalent to taking one car off the road. Because of the massive deforestation rates in Haiti, countries like Haiti have an outsized impact. In addition to taking that car off the road by replacing it with this orange stove, that family also saves 10% of their annual income. For a $20 price point, they can save 10% of their annual income, which is over $150. And that's just such a remarkable change that I was recently at a conference on a panel, and we were talking that the solutions that most people in the Global South need have already been invented. We do not need to invent a new type of water filter. We do not need to invent new ways to cook. Obviously, there's technological evolutions that can happen, but we need to scale the solutions that already exist to communities. So the technologies and what we're talking about today, we did not invent any of them. We're simply scaling to the communities, the ones that they picked. They picked these technologies. These are the ones that are most culturally appropriate. And one thing to remember, the culturally appropriate technologies aren't often the fanciest or the most sophisticated, because places like Haiti are littered with broken, fancy technologies that no one knows how to fix. And they didn't even ask for it in the first place. And I learned that as a child, as my church put electricity into a town, that I don't know that they actually asked for the electricity, and 5 years later the generator broke and they didn't, it wasn't owned, it wasn't asked for, so it wasn't empowered. And so unlocking communities is an anecdote to what can happen if sustainability happens in communities. So this is our DNA. I won't read it. I'm happy to talk more about it later. But we are really unafraid to work in the world's most challenging places. We go where others won't go. So we went into Haiti, but when we went into Haiti, I went in, and Haiti was relatively safe when we went in, and it's gotten worse every year. People say when you think you've hit rock bottom in Haiti, Haiti manages to dig itself a deeper hole. And the forces outside of Haiti, they're not actually digging themselves the hole. The forces outside of Haiti are digging themselves that hole. But so we go into those places, and I've seen countless NGOs. The number of NGOs I've seen close in Haiti or pull out of Haiti. All the big organizations don't work in these regions anymore. It's too dangerous or too complicated, or the funding ran out. So for the large, Catholic and non-Catholic aid organizations, the minute that the earthquake money ran out around 2015, 2016 from the 2010 earthquake, they all left Haiti. And the needs weren't done, and these opportunities weren't done. This is a family, actually, it's our top seller in Haiti of water filters. She sold all while she was pregnant, giving birth to her child, sold water filters throughout communities in Haiti. And the one thing, I'll touch on the water filters here in a second while I talk about our model. So, entrepreneur in Haiti, who I got to know, and his name was Ernso, who also actually lost his dad. His dad died when his dad was struck by lightning, and he was going to become a Catholic priest, but then the Catholic Church took his family in when he lost his dad and really took care of his family, and he was like, I need to start businesses to create a sustainable livelihood for my family and also give back to his community. So he's a serial entrepreneur. He runs like 4 different businesses right now, his family does, all for the community, local food production, but most importantly, he's a great friend of mine and our country director in Haiti. Together, when I was doing my master's in Catholic social teaching, we co-designed a model of what does it look like. Like, this is community organizing. If you strip off like this language, which is marketed to people outside of the Catholic social teaching world, this is community organizing. We are not a set up and sell. You will not see Unlocking Communities' name in a community. Rather, our country director and their team go into communities, talk to all the church leaders of all the different churches, and bring together a group of 15 people. We started selling just with one church, or the Catholic Church, but realized it was only selling to the people who attended that church. And so then we brought together this interfaith group of people to sell water filters and cook stoves and different products in the communities, and it's really powerful. So powerful that we have a waiting list of 70 communities waiting for our model to be replicated in, just in Haiti alone. And keep in mind, we're not actually giving away any products. We offer our entrepreneurship training program for free, which helps to bridge these entrepreneurs who've had to drop out of school at some point in time to make a livelihood for their family, but aren't able to, or have never gotten any formal business training. So we do formal business training. We also do some smallholder farming loans to them as well, which we've been really successful at, but we won't really focus on that today. But the most powerful statistic on this slide is, if you would give a family a water filter for free, the charities that do, if you come back 5 years later, you'll find that only 50% of those families are using it or less. There's a story that sticks out to me. Someone got a water filter and then was surveyed a few years later, and they were asked why they were sick with waterborne diseases. And they were like, I thought I have a water filter, I'd be protected. The water filter was actually serving as a bedpost to the bed that they were sleeping on at night, and actually being used to filter the water. And so our customers, because we meet them at a dignified spot, we offer a payment plan that's fit for them and a price point that's valuing the products and valuing what they're getting, but not overcharging and pricing things out of the price point of communities. 98% of our customers still use the products 3 years later, which is unheard of in the industry, even amongst all organizations. And so it's that payment, it's that recognizing their dignity. And our country director in Haiti is like, never, ever, ever give them away for free. The team will never be. And I asked our team last year when I was down with them in Haiti, do you see us as a nonprofit? Do communities see us as a nonprofit or a business? And they instantly answered neither. They see us as a trusted institution. And in places like Haiti, trust is so important, but so hard to find, because so many people have come to places like Haiti, promised them the moon, promised them miracles to happen in their communities, and were never seen again. I call Haiti the land of broken promises by people external to Haiti. And so when our organization, and it's all run by Haitians, like I have not actually been to a lot of the communities we go to, we work in, and that's by design. This is meant to be 100% Haitian run business that will be within like two years sustainable and not needing any grant funding to operate the core business. We will still use grant funding to do other community programs, but our core model will actually spin off carbon credits, so which I will get to in a second. Yes. So these are roots in Catholic social teaching. I'm sure as I've been talking, you've picked up on the threads, but I won't, to be conscious of time, I won't talk about that. This is just some of the impact we've done. We've avoided over 500,000 tons of carbon emissions to date. As Sarah said, it impacted over 750,000 lives. We've sold over 27,000 products, now probably closer to 30,000 products. But this is really our challenge, and this is what Sarah invested in, and this is what I would like to talk to. And this is the challenge. These products have been invented in the world, cook stoves, water filters, but no one in the communities that we work in is selling any competition. We have no competition in these products because they have traditionally been too expensive for businesses that need to repay investors and return to investors a profit to sell these products because they're too expensive for families. Like a family can't afford the full cost of $32 plus for a stove, but what they can afford is like a $20 to $25 price point for a stove. And so what we do is we offset that with carbon credits. However, because of the outsized environmental impact, the carbon credits generated are over 5 times the subsidy that we need. And because we're a nonprofit, there are a lot of carbon credit organizations around the world that if you look into them, they're actually for-profit companies or sell off up to 50% of the carbon credits to investors to administer these projects. But then the communities aren't actually the agents. I personally view carbon credits as a reparation to communities for the climate injustices that they're benefiting. Recently, my team's been complaining that the heat has been preventing people in Haiti from sleeping because it's been so hot in places like Haiti. And they're gonna have to spend money to adopt to that. Like my country director just bought an air conditioning unit for his family. They're spending money to adopt to that. So it's how do we get the excess carbon credit revenue back to the communities in a just way? And I've had to learn, I'm a man of scale. Like I want to scale, but I've had to learn that means you have to sometimes go slower to get the right type of capital, like RCIF that will go slower, that will go at an interest rate so that you can return 90+% of the revenue to communities. So every dollar of carbon credits that's sold, 90 cents will go either to that subsidy, that $13 subsidy, or back into the community's hands. And when we ask the communities what do they want us to do with that money, they're like tree planting and small business loans. That's what they want, because when I went in college to Haiti and studied the impact my church had made, they'd sent over $2 million to Haiti. The community said, the church had done great things, but they forgot one piece. They forgot actually economic empowerment, which is center. And it's going deep enough, right? It's not just a $100 or $200 loan, it's a few $1,000 loan to a family so they can get a farm to a size that actually can sustain their family. So this is what we are looking for from Roman religious congregations. We have over 6 congregations that support us with grants. We have some that support us with what's called blended financing. They might not even realize it's blended financing. They give us a grant and they give us a loan too. And that's something really interesting to talk about, and something that I've talked to several in the room about as we're looking to expand internationally into other countries, some of which where some of your congregations have had footprints or have worked in the Congo and Central Africa. We're looking also for blended financing, both a grant to get the program off the ground and then debt financing to sustain it. We're looking for increments of $100,000 of impact investments for Haiti right now specifically. And this is what you're doing by investing in our work right now, is you're also giving permission for larger entities to come in and de-risk it. But the challenge in places like Haiti is there's no middle financing parties. There's parties like the World Bank, the IFCs that do $5 million loans, but there's no one that does like $1 million loans. We have to show that we're big enough and we can scale with that type of capital that's supplemental to this. Because in places like Haiti, all the financing organizations don't do this. There's no banking system that could lend to people like us. So this is just one of the opportunities. And I want to end with just a few different testimonials. this family in the middle from Sado says they now spend a fourth of the money on collecting water because of the impact of our water filter. And then the family at the end from La Chapelle talks about they used to buy 2 bags of charcoal a month, and now they only buy 1 bag. And that savings is so impactful, not only on the environment, but on their health. So thank you so much for this opportunity. We have a booth right next to RCIF. Please stop by. Happy to chat more afterwards as well.
As Josh mentioned, he and I were in relationship and conversation for years before we were able to make an investment in unlocking communities. And I think that's one of the gifts that we bring at RCIF is recognizing relationship and also working with organizations at the pivotal point to help them expand, grow, and do more, not burden them unnecessarily with debt. Some operations are more, it's more appropriate to support them with grants and charity. And then when they get to scale and there's potential to do more, that's when RCIF can come in. And we really view our sweet spot as supporting that early stage organization that is on the cusp of a growth spurt. And so I do want to thank Josh, both for his visionary leadership and passion, not just in what he's doing in serving Haiti, but also in the way he's very, very generous with his time and his expertise. He's helped me grow and think. He offers that counsel to others out of the goodness of his heart. And I find it really inspiring that you have continued to work in Haiti. And I would imagine that there were times, and there still may be time, I think it's less now, I think it's in the rearview mirror, but there were times when you weren't sure if it was going to succeed. Mm-hmm. Just because, not because the idea wasn't good, but because they were undercapitalized. Mm-hmm. And undercapitalization really does stifle communities. And you know, if there's one takeaway that you have from this breakfast, it is that it is a reality in our culture that money is often that missing ingredient between eating, not eating, between having a job, a way to get to work. And so I'm really proud of our portfolio investee partners. I hope you are as well. I hope you have the opportunity to engage with those that are at your table a little bit more. But Josh, thank you. Is there anybody, I also want to say, some of our portfolio is in community development financial institutions, which are loan funds, both domestically and then, you know, microfinance institutions, which for all in international theater, which are really also CDFIs serving the Global South. But then we have a part of the portfolio that is engaged in direct investment in nonprofit projects like Josh and social enterprises. So we do have different types of things in the portfolio and are animating your capital in different ways. So that's something that's unique about Josh. Does anybody have a question for Josh or Ariana? We have a couple of minutes.
I want to say one thing about the undercapitalization too. Okay. So I just want to talk about this. I mentioned it yesterday in the session that we would not have scaled if it wouldn't have been for a large gift from the Wheaton Franciscan Sisters. And they decided, because they were closing, to do large gifts to nonprofits. And without regard to their budget size, really. They built relationships and they did large gifts to social enterprises to scale. That was at a time when large institutional philanthropy wouldn't do the same size gifts to us. And that really allowed us to scale. We've been around for 7 years, but that's not because it took us 7 years to do this on the ground. I've had to probably over 100 times tell my team in Haiti to stop expanding because we don't have the capital. Like, it's not because of the on the ground pace. They could have done this in like 2 to 3 years. at the most. So that undercapitalization and really leaning into trust, whether it be with philanthropic money or impact investing, especially early on in larger amounts than you might like that are normal and that have been done to grants, is really transformational to organizations. And I'm happy to talk to anyone more about that for our work or for other work just in general as you think about your grant making and impact investing.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Josh. Josh and Ariana, thank you both. Blessings on your work, blessings on on your clients and the communities they serve.